after watching the film last night, you look at the offense, the ball movement, the assists, and also the defense. Was it the most maybe complete game you guys have played?
It was the most complete game we played in a while. I had to go back and kind of break down each game. We've had some really solid ones so far this year, but I talked about the hard road trip and then kind of coming back home and trying to figure it out again. It felt like it felt like we had gotten back to where we were before we left on that road trip last night, as far as the way we were playing and obviously moving the ball was our I thought was the best of the season so far. The way that we were sharing it and total passes and all those things. But I'm very happy with the performance last night.
Julius ran it with his best statistical game, but you know what he can do. You coached him last year. Is it almost frustrating for you as a coach knowing that he has that in him every night but isn't getting it?
No, not frustrating at all. He's a young player that he keeps showing progress in his game, and it's not easy. The consistency level at this in the NBA, when you play as much as we do and the other teams are so good, it's tough. It's tough to figure out. It's why it's hard for young teams to win. There's so much they're still learning, and I think Julius has done a great job of continuing to try to improve his game and do what we ask. And last night he was pretty darn good for us.
You mentioned last night you hadn't yet pinpointed those things that make him play like that. Did you get a chance to show him the film and try to figure that out?
We showed him film. Jesse showed him his clips. We watched clips as a team. But even little things like we're always trying to get him to, anytime his man leaves to help out, because a lot of times he's on the perimeter just with our offense, diving into that open space. He had a couple possessions last night that he did it, and he got dunks and layups on it. So it's good to see him continuing to get better at those things. Not sure why he was so locked in and flying around the court yesterday, but to me he's still doing that even more times than not right now.
Luke, with some of the struggles, just not winning games here, you won yesterday, obviously, what do you like what this team is doing right now that you tell them that they're doing well and continue to do well?
Well, their defensive effort is the most important thing that we keep preaching. Today's film session, we actually spent more time than I'd like on offense and talking about the offense, but that's because we had to. They were really good. We had 338 total passes, something like that, 36 assists. We're making the extra pass pretty much all night long, and I thought it was important for us to as much as we harp on playing that way, when they have a game where they're doing all of that, to kind of show them and acknowledge the fact that we recognize that type of effort. But what I'm happiest about is the defensive consistency.
Luke, what makes Lonzo such an effective rebounder?
I think the way he sees the game. I think he attacks the rebound for where it's going. He's not waiting for the ball to come to him. He goes and gets it and understands angles, and he gets up off the ground pretty well when he's doing those things. But I think most of it is just his anticipation of where a ball is going.
You mentioned last night that one of the biggest reasons why you've made a jump so quickly defensively is really KCP and Corey Brewer. People might look at the stat sheet and not see big numbers for Corey, but what have they been able to do to anchor that defense?
Well, they're a part of it. There's a lot of parts into why our defense has been so much better this year. But they just bring a toughness and a competitiveness to the defensive end, and they do it more so in practice even. I think that has carried over to other guys on our team than in the games. The way that they fight over screens, and the way that they get excited from getting stops and get excited about guarding the other team's best player type of thing, I think has just helped our overall mentality on that side of the floor.
With Lonzo being a point guard, is rebounding something that a person at that position can work on, or is it something that's like innate in their ability as a basketball player?
Well, you can always work on everything in our game, but I think his his ability to rebound is one comes from his desire to win because he's relentless there, and two from just his ability to anticipate where balls are going and where he can, there's even sometimes you'll see him where he knows he won't be able to get to the rebound, so he'll position himself to be able to strip somebody when they're coming down with the rebound. So he just has a great feel for where to be on the court.
Have you guys given him that green light to rebound whenever, or is there times you wanted to balance that and him to get back?
Well, Coach Shaw challenged him to kind of focus on the rebounding part of his game as a way to just get himself going. And that's defensively. Offensively, we still want him back. We've given him, he's a really good offensive rebounder too, so we've given him some freedom to crash the glass, but if it looks like there's no opening for it, then we expect him to be the first man back in defending our transition defense.
Do you feel where you are now in the beginning of the season, is this kind of where you thought the team would be?
This is where I hoped we'd be. I thought that it would take a little longer for us to do some of the things defensively that we're doing right now, which is why I think we've been able to have some success, and I think that for being early in the season still, that our guys have done a really nice job.